My name is Varun Bharti. I'm the president of the Rutgers Entrepreneurial Society. And today I'm joined by Rup, Claudia, and Brianna. And these are the co-founders of SageTech. For those of you who don't know, today we're filming the Rutgers Entrepreneurship Spotlight Series, basically giving a platform to student founders like these to talk about not only their company, but also your individual stories. Before we get into everything and anything, give us and the viewers a quick intro about you guys. We can start with what way do you guys want to start? That way, this way? Let's start. Sorry, Brianna. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Brianna. I'm a sophomore studying business analytics and information technologies with a concentration in sales, and I'm really passionate about, working with people in teams and the whole interpersonal side of the business with a strong focus on public relations. My name is Claudia Santa Cruz. I'm a cognitive science major and an IT and informatics double major. I'm really passionate about the neuroscience of learning and how we can sort of instantiate a better learning experience with tech and human-computer interaction.
My name is Ruth Mehta. I am a sophomore double majoring in business analytics and information technology and computer science with minor in mathematics. I'm interested in entrepreneurship and the startup world with innovation around brain-computer interfaces, AI, and quantum mechanics applications. And Sage is important to me because of the education aspect and how the education system needs to be revamped, and we need to build from the ground up again.
And as you can see, we're all very passionate about accessible and quality education. That is why we started SageTech. SageTech is a platform to sort of host and share virtual reality learning experiences as a supplement to in-classroom learning. And we wanted to tap into the AR and VR market to help instantiate these better learning experiences for students.
For sure. So I think you already started answering the second question I was about to ask yourselves. Could you guys also give us a quick intro into Sage, which you already did, but you can go further into detail. But then on top of that, let's also talk about how you guys came up with this idea. How did you guys meet each other and then decide to do this? Yeah.
Sure. So I can speak a little bit more about the idea of SageTech. So it is a platform for hosting and sharing interactive VR content as a supplement to education. So you're taking 10 to 15 minutes of your regular in-classroom lesson and using it in a immersive, interactive space. So for example, if you're looking at biology of cells and you're trying to study the different components of it, for 10 to 15 minutes, you'll dive into the actual cell, see how it works, be able to move around, play with the environment, and then come out of it.
So, pause, Brianna. For those who may not understand what Sage is, you just said dive into the actual cell. Well, what do you mean by that?
So, the whole point of SageTech is to make lessons come to life, right? So, let's say you're looking at something in a 2D way, a cell on a piece of paper, but you want to actually, make it enlarge. You want to move pieces around. In VR, you have the ability to do that with different user interface tools, so you can make the cell much larger than actually possible in real life. You can highlight certain aspects. You can, add notes to it or something like that. Make it a really interactive, engaging experience.
That's essentially what I was trying to get at. So you guys are using and incorporating a virtual reality into everyday curriculums.
Yes, and we're focused on high school students, and we're going to start in the STEM environment with a focus on bringing mathematical concepts to life, or science applications, something around that nature. Right, and it's important that we wanted to do this for mainly STEM-based applications in high school, because a lot of the experiential learning that goes on in schools is not accessible because the only way that they're doing experiential learning is like field trips, which are very costly. They take a lot of time, and they're usually not feasible to bring a full classroom to like a laboratory or to some place that has a lot of liability issues. So you can do these same experiences within VR. You can do the lesson over and over. You can change the certain stimuli that you're getting within the lesson, and it's a lot more flexible. It's a flexible method of experiential learning. Yeah, so on this platform, you would have crowdsourced content from different developers, which would contribute to what the students are able to access. And then ideally in the future, we'd be able to partner with educational networks like McGraw-Hill or National Geographic or, all these different people in the education ecosystem to create a sort of like hub for all this content, like a YouTube for VR in a sense.
Yeah, amazing. Arup, any thoughts, any additions?
No, they got it pretty much covered.
Amazing, yeah. So this next question that we have is pertaining to the industry that you guys are in. What are your past, present, and future thoughts about the industry? So, but just first and foremost, before you go ahead, I was going to ask that you guys are kind of in the middle of two industries, right? That being VR and EdTech.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which one would you guys place yourselves more under, or would you say you guys are hybrid of both?
So it's definitely a hybrid of both, but at the moment it would be more so education, because that's the primary focus.
Yes.
And we're using VR as the base technology in education. But
So if I were to ask you the past and present, future thoughts of your industry, would you like to talk about the state of the EdTech industry or the state of VR?
I would go more so into the state of VR and how it applies to education.
Please go ahead. Yes.
For example, the digital transformation of education has really skyrocketed in the past 20, 30 years with the advent of portable devices, portable computers, portable phones and screens, and essentially the internet. And then further advanced in that with our ability to create graphical interfaces. So the next real evolution in that hardware and software tech side of education is VR. Because now that we've essentially mastered 2D technology in education, the next step is 3D. We really think that this transformation is analogous to the transformation of computers in education, where initially it started off as a slow adoption process. The richest private schools had them. They would only have like one or two, or maybe like a lab full of computers, and students would be able to tinker, learn how to code, etc. But as AI, generative AI, and other VR tools and software really starts being developed and starts being accelerated, that's soon going to change, and the accessibility to VR is going to skyrocket as well, just like the accessibility to computers and the accessibility to code skyrocketed as well.
And I think it's important to note that for at least 2027, the market projection for USD is about 114 billion for VR. The VR market is expected to grow exponentially. And a majority of the companies and corporations taking advantage of VR are in the sectors of healthcare, corporate training, and all of these other areas. But nobody's really tapping into the education market, and that's why we see such a value in sort of both combining the VR into education and sort of integrating those together.
Yes. So for the viewers who don't know, EdTech refers to educational technology, basically using any type of technology to better enhance education. And so now the viewers know a little bit more about SageTech. They know a little bit more about what you guys all do. I think it's important to talk about the founders as well, the faces behind great companies. Please tell not only me, but tell the viewers, how hard was it to get here? What was the personal entrepreneurial journey that you guys all went through, either independently or together? What were the obstacles? What were the hardships? What were the initial success stories, if any?
So I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. It was a pain in the ass for, like, a lot of the times it wasn't all, like glitter and gold. It was hard as sunshine. Right. As a student, as an undergraduate student, nevertheless a first generation student, we all had to learn a bunch of stuff about entrepreneurship, about business, about how to go out and talk to people, about how to just pitch our idea. And it was a lot of learning on the way, a lot of bootstrapping, a lot of trial and error. But I think, like, ultimately it paid off. And every experience we did have aided into our growth. Every failure we had helped us grow. And we've done a lot of turnaround, whether it be idea-wise or just how we managed the team. But yeah, I'd say it was a huge learning.
Do you want to go? I was gonna say we've been diligently working on this for about 2 years now, so that should be kind of like an indication about how hard this is in retrospect. Because this is not just a simple app. It's not just a simple idea. This is one of those huge ones that take a lot of time to grow or start growing. But then once it hits that exponential point or like that inflection point, it starts growing exponentially.
Yes.
So in the process, from about 10 to 13 people, the people that have stuck around are 5 people. So we're now that one hardcore team of 5 people working together on this.
And like he noted, we've been working on it for 2 years. So our passion has really held us together. None of what we've been doing for 2 years has felt like work. And that's why we've just been continuing as strong as we have. Yeah. And I think that the reason we all came together in the first place is we all had a really strong passion for entrepreneurship, being self-starters. You know, we all are really curious and want to learn as much as possible. So through a, idea or like an entrepreneurship-based club, we were able to, form a really good group of friends, and we were all like, let's get this project going. We're all passionate about education system, making changes, and like learning as we go. And on the topic of, successes that we've had so far, the 3 of us have been a part of an interdisciplinary research team where we are working to publish a literature review on the science behind learning to get that footing in the space and build some credibility. So also just so we can learn more about what we're trying to fix too. And then currently we're working on a white paper. And I think the most fun experience we've had so far is we had the chance to speak on NASDAQ trade talks in the fall about the VR, AR market, and also SageTech. Thank you. So that was a really fun experience for us to get into the city, meet, some really brilliant people and, just talk more about what we're interested in and why we want to make a change.
Yeah, that's amazing. So now the viewers know who the founders of SageTech are. They know your story. Let's now talk a little bit about your company. What vision do you guys have for the future of SageTech?
The loaded question.
Yeah,
so that's very loaded.
In terms of vision, of course, we see this implemented in every single classroom, and ideally, every single kid or student has a companion headset that they can then browse, learn whenever they want, however they want.
But by companion headset, you mean a pair of VR glasses?
Yep. Yes. And we want this to, how do I say this? We want this to be personalized as well. So we want, one of the things that we're focusing on for the future is how we can make all of this VR content personalized for each person, how we can adapt to each person's learning styles, and how we can make it better for each individual, because that is not something that is highly accessible or available to students and teachers in the classroom, because one teacher can pertain to the needs of 30 people across in just one classroom, but also the hundreds of students that they teach. So that is one other thing that we want to focus on for the future. And in the vision of Sage, we want SageTech, every student has the ability to learn how they are built to learn.
Yeah. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to enhance the educational experience for students. I mean, we're students. We've been in school for many, many years. We know how the education system is right now, and we see the current emerging tech as it is as well. We want students to be able to walk into the classroom every day and look forward to learning the in-class material in an engaging way, in an immersive way. Yeah, I think that's basically the foundation of our passion for it. And I think more on the platform side, we're looking to, like I said, create a hub. So ideally partnering with those well-established, leaders in the educational space and making this as a platform for them to like expand their company into creating VR content, but, going through the Sage platform. So we have all these credible sources bringing in their expertise on different, topics. And then you can kind of pull from all these different, companies and organizations to create a more like holistic learning experience. And your, it's not just, one textbook or one lesson. It's like you have this wide array of lessons you can choose from.
And the other thing I want to add in our vision is, along with digital transformation comes accessibility. So
Yes.
with the printing press, more people were able to learn how to read. More people were able to learn more knowledge.
Yes.
That was only previously accessible to scholars and other people with money, and they would go to these highly privatized institutions to learn, right? Back in the 1300s, 1400s, and like 1600s, right? Then the digital age, that let people learn almost everything that there is to know on the internet. If you not only the wealthy had access to this information, impoverished kids and students all over the world, and even if it's not impoverished, just people that didn't have the ability to, like, for example, go to a $70,000 college, were able to learn the same stuff that they do, right? And that we want to bring the same type of transformation, but for experiential learning. So people that can't afford, or schools that can't afford chemistry labs, we can offer us an alternative for their students to learn. People that can't go out and experience museums and different artifacts, we can provide those people with a way to then learn the same information in an experiential way. People that aren't able to do the things that we're able to do while coming to Rutgers or while coming to other institutions in America, we're able to give them the access to that learning.
So what you're talking about is a democratization of the access to experiential learning.
Yeah, with every digital transformation, the democratization is going to happen.
Yeah. So, and like you said, how amazing parallel, by the way, of the invention of the printing press, and then the democratization of education and literacy for many. What do you think is going to be that leading factor of if democratization of experiential learning is the cause? What do you think the effect is? We haven't seen it yet, right? So I'm asking me to like predict the future here.
So are you saying what the benefit of increasing experiential learning would be?
The democratization of experiential learning. Yeah. Well.
So essentially, you're equaling the playing field for students in the education field. You're equaling the access to quality education. And the way I see it is virtual reality technology actually gives students a way to learn in a method that aligns with how we naturally learn based off of cognitive science, right? So we're wired to learn through experience and to take the different stimuli from different modalities, whether it be hearing, sight, and movement. We're able to combine those different stimuli into a whole experience and encode it into our memory for long-term retrieval. And we actually learn 10 times better that way. So I see if students have the ability to learn like that regularly in every class and be able to interact with material in that way, and let's say their scores go up in classes, they're able to actually obtain a better education.
Yes.
They will come out of schools more equipped for real-life experiences, basically apply what they had just learned in the classroom to real-life experiences. And we ultimately enhance the educational experience for all.
Yeah.
And of course, from a headset, it's a lot easier to bring the versatility of these experiences to them, the different types. Because again, like Root was saying, some schools don't have the funding to go to certain places, or these places are just not accessible. Like they could be across the country, or they could just be in like corporations where you don't have access to, like you're not allowed in. So
it could also be experiences that are just not possible in the real world, even
going
if
to space.
or applying mathematical concepts to like what's actually in front of you. You can't really do that with a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's not applicable to what you're looking at in front of you. So things that you can't do anyways, it's only available in VR.
I feel like one can also say that this would just increase innovation as a whole. If we have more kids having access to be able to do breakthrough biology or breakthrough material science, we can increase the pace of innovation for all of humanity through experiential learning.
You're opening a whole realm of ways to interact with material that you're not able to do like on a piece of paper or out of a textbook. So yeah, definitely.
And actually going off of that point, innovation research, research either in the STEM field or humanities field or any other field, it's all about changing and then seeing what happens, right?
Yes.
So that is the basis of one of our biggest learning principles. As a baby, we test things and then see what happens, right? That's how babies learn about gravity. That's how they learn things are going to fall. That's how they're going to learn that the stuff's hot, right? Don't touch it. These are all minor experiential learning ways of learning about life, but that's also how we learn in real life. And that's how science, like from the scientific method, you test a hypothesis and see what happens, right? So that's one more thing that experiential learning through VR is going to make accessible to them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming. I know we are running quite short on time, so I have one last question to ask you guys, and I would like you guys to try to answer it the best you can in just one sentence each, right? And this last question is that you guys are entrepreneurs, and that's amazing. That within itself is a huge risk, and to be successful is a huge success. But you guys are also students. You guys are full-time students, and you can't be part-time entrepreneurs. So full-time students and full-time entrepreneurs, what advice would you have to give to student founders, aspiring student founders like yourselves?
Do you guys want to go?
Sure. I would say be eager to learn about everything, be intellectually curious, and don't be afraid to take risks, because even if you fail, it'll teach you things that will help you succeed in the next run anyways.
Yes.
I'd say already being in the role of pursuing entrepreneurship takes a lot of bravery. And I'd say that you're only going to get out what you put in. I mean, simply. Like Brianna said, intellectual curiosity will carry you. Hard work will carry you. Your network will carry you. So don't ever be afraid to go out and connect with people and to really just voice your opinions, because that'll take you a long way in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's just, I like that you said you only get, you said you get what you put in, what you get. Can you repeat that?
You get out what you put in. So if you put in 10%, you're only going to get out 10%. If you put in 100%, you'll get out 100.
Yeah. What about you?
There's this quote by Friedrich Nietzsche that I really like. I don't remember it word for word, but it
Nietzsche, right?
Is it Nietzsche? I don't know. I don't know it right.
Yeah.
But it goes something along the lines of this.
Yes.
What is your purpose in life if you do not dare to do the impossible?
He's
I like that one.
many times.
I like that one.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you say it one more time for the camera?
What is your purpose in life if you do not dare to do the impossible?